And you also mentioned the three great World War II books are The Thin Red Line, Life and Fate by Vasily Grossman, and The End of the Affair, Graham Greene. What makes for a great war book?
I think World War II is interesting because it affects everywhere, obviously. And so you can get all these different kinds of stories. And there's so many good. I was just trying to come up with a range of one American, one British, one Eastern European, just to get different perspectives. But there's so many amazing World War II books about all kinds of stories. I think the most complete one, because it is this all of life being there, probably is Life and Fate, which is amazing.
And it was written by Vasily Grossman. He experienced Stalingrad firsthand, and there's also just a deep philosophical component.
And the bit in Treblinka is one of the most harrowing sections of any book I ever read. And it really, almost more than any other piece of art around the Holocaust, made me feel what you would feel like at that moment. And it's just an incredible piece of humanism.
And also just, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It seems like that context reveals in the most pure way human nature and like what kind of, in Man's Search for Meaning is when everything is taken from you, the little remains of love for, in this case, his wife is the thing that is a little flame that burns. And Vasily Grossman is small acts of kindness is the thing that allows the human spirit to persist.
I love the bit in Life and Fate when you get, obviously it's in this Stalinist period, and so they're all losing. They all know that what they thought was going to be wonderful about the revolution isn't going to happen. So there's a whole, and everyone's scared of being killed by Stalin because it's post the purges. But then you get these guys and they're trapped in a building fighting in Stalingrad. And so they know at this moment they're dead anyway. And they get to live like pure, perfect Marxist communists away from Stalin and all his nonsense. And I thought that section is incredible because you realize, like, in some ways, in all of its horrors, the most disappointing thing about the 20th century, in some ways, was the absolute failure of communism. It was because it was such a, quote unquote, beautiful idea, and it just did not work time and time again. And these people who fought for it and then saw it not working, I think they're sort of fascinating characters. All of the revolutionaries from 1917 that were then killed by Stalin, which was all of them apart from him and Lenin.
And that was, people in modern day politics talk about communism like it's trivial that it would lead to atrocities, but I don't think it's that trivial. It's this idealism of humans.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't we all get along? There's a real compassion behind it. There's real love. And what you realize is it's a real study, the 20th century, of human nature that, unfortunately, at scale, that kind of compassion is abused by centralized power. So there's a dictator always in that context. In those, given that set of technologies, a dictator arises and does the opposite of what the promise of the ideal is supposed to be.
Well, I think I thought a lot about that then, because I was taught by all these disappointed communists. After 89, all of these English communists, all like having to accept, discovering all these atrocities had happened in, so it always fascinated me. And then you think about complexities or where one's own values are in the modern moment. And I say, without from and whether either of them, any what we would call left now or call right now, does it have any bearing on the sort of communist era of those words? And I would say probably not. I think that things have changed, but fundamentally, the one value that I would think is worth fighting for is whenever either side starts to move towards thought control, move away. That's never the right outcome. The never right outcome is, oh, you've said the wrong thing, you should be removed now. That should never, ever be a thing we should lean towards.
Yeah, it does seem like individual freedom is a prerequisite
for happiness.
For happiness, and a flourishing of a larger society. Yeah. So there's, like you said, 1984 is pretty, it's a caricature.
But it is brilliant.
It's actually also just a good story. That's my criticism of Brave New World. It's just poorly written. But I like Brave New World probably applies more to the 21st century than does 1984.
I don't know. I think 1984 with the fake wars and the
Yeah,
way that it revealed that
yeah,
everything in it was a setup for him. There's
yeah.
something, if he could have seen the internet, there's something. It's like an
Yeah.
analog internet, that world they build
Oh, man.
around the main character.